And this headline, you might have caught your attention. GOP donors are privately pushing to Senator Tim Scott to give more details about his private life, your single status. So you must have heard this, and you got to be attuned. Without donations, without support, you can't run. What is your status?
I mean, in a perfect world, no one would care, but unfortunately, Brian Kilmeade isn't alone in being concerned with the relationship of presidential candidate Tim Scott. Unfortunately for Scott, his status as a bachelor has been the source of much inquiry during his time as a politician. But now Scott is claiming that he does in fact have a beau. And is he telling the truth, or is he making it up just to appease donors? And yes, donors of all people are concerned about this. By the way, Scott is 57 years old. He has never been married. He does not have children. And so that's leading to all sorts of rumors. And so we'll get into the question that Ben Terrace tried to answer in a recent investigation for the Washington Post. But the Axios piece that Kilmeade was referring to was published a few weeks ago, and here's what it states. Top GOP donors and their allies privately are pushing Senator Tim Scott's team for more detail about his bachelor status before deciding how much to support him in the presidential campaign, according to two people familiar with the conversations. Scott's reluctance to say much about his private life has raised concerns among some conservative Republican donors, according to the sources, who requested anonymity given the sensitivity of the issue. Why do donors care? Woz, take a stab at it. What do you think this is about?
I mean, in the Washington Post piece, like, I encourage everybody to read it because the writer whose name I'm blanking on right now, he goes out of his way to be like, look, I'm not calling this guy gay, but whenever there's a politician who is as old as Tim Scott is, who's never been married, has no kids, and cannot produce a girlfriend, a mistress, blah, 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 people assume that they're gay. And this matters in the GOP because they're super anti-gay. And that's why it matters. He's running in the Republican Party. I think if he was a Democrat, he could be pretty much as secretive as he wanted to be. And nobody would really push him on this stuff because of said implication. Like, we understand Washington Post is pretty mainstream, obviously elite media. They tend to lean more progressive on especially these social issues. And so of course they tried to handle it with some sensitivities, but I don't know how you read that Washington Post interview where they can't materialize a girlfriend and think that Tim Scott is a heterosexual male.
So Ben Terrace is the Washington Post reporter who wrote the piece you're referring to. In fact, he writes, this is not a wink wink story that uses single in place of gay. Despite the retrograde assumptions people still like to make about wifeless men of a certain age, there really is nothing to suggest that Scott is anything other than a confirmed bachelor in the most literal sense of the phrase. So I want to go to the video of Tim Scott talking about his new girlfriend, and then we'll give you more from this Washington Post piece.
Well, obviously, at this point, I'm taken. I have a wonderful girlfriend, and we have a wonderful relationship. The good news is God has blessed me with a smart Christian woman. That's great news.
Is there time for a woman in your life right now?
Well, there's always time for a great relationship with a wonderful woman. And I thank God that is happening. But we're gonna leave it there. I probably have more time, more energy, and more latitude to do the job. I mean, my girlfriend wants to see me when I come home.
Like, I literally do not understand any of the attention this story is getting. I just don't. I especially don't understand it because I've talked about my husband so much on this show that audience members have written in to tell me to shut up about my husband already. So, Anna's really attracted to her husband. She loves her husband. All right, sorry. But like, it's so, like, this whole thing is so sad. I have a girlfriend now, she's a nice Christian woman. It's like, oh.
But it's sad, Anna. But like when you position yourself as family values, I love Jesus Christ, and the Lord is my Savior, and He's my shepherd, and He's gonna save my soul. And if that's how you want to position yourself to these people whose votes and money and influence you're courting, then you gotta prove to them that you are what you say you are. And I don't see how you could be, and again, it shouldn't matter, but you're a Republican. This is the brand, the family values, the freaking mom, the dad, the kids, the picket fence. That's the brand. That's the brand you chose to be a part of.
He made his bed. You're right.
Yes, I can't feel bad that they're pressing him. This is who he's voluntarily aligned himself with. And again, I would urge you people to read, because the punchline on that damn post, investigative piece, they're investigating whether this guy has a girlfriend or not.
Oh my God.
Wow, it is crazy.
It is crazy. Look, I'm gonna skip ahead because we're running out of time and it's important that you know this. So the Washington Post spoke to some of his close friends, including a guy named Brian Moniz, childhood friend of Tim Scott's. And he said this: it's been a challenge mainly for the females in his life over the years. They get put on the back burner. Women have hung around for a while and they realize they're not going to be the top priority right now. Good friend, providing some cover for his buddy there. However, Moniz and 6 other friends of Tim Scott's, who the reporter Terrace spoke to, claimed that to their knowledge, Scott does not currently have a girlfriend. Look, I don't know what the truth is. He might have a girlfriend and he's just not going around talking about her. Maybe.
Anna. You know what the damn truth is. Hint. His fellow senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. I mean, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Like the fact that these 2 brothers are the representatives from South Carolina, and all the stuff that is swirling those 2 guys.
Swerving too,
in relation to in relation to their love lives is chef's kiss.
Everyone check out the piece in the Washington Post.
And draw your own conclusion. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.